Introduction. The sea doesn't hate you, but it doesn't care about you at all. The fact that you've been on your feet for 31 hours means nothing to the sea. A freezing wave that just crashed over the deck rail washed you head to toe. Your gloves are useless now. Your fingers are so numb that you have to look at the rope to make sure it's really there, even though you're gripping it hard. In 40-knot winds, a 700-pound crab cage hangs overhead, swaying on the winch. If the operator makes one wrong move, you can't escape. You won't even have time to think. The Bering Sea takes lives every year. Commercial fishing is one of the most dangerous jobs in America. The fatality rate is many times higher than the national average. Boats sink, people drown, and without proper equipment, you've got maybe a few minutes in that water. Yet the boats keep going out. You're only 22. The calendar reads October. You're in Dutch Harbor, Alaska. The wind cuts across your face like a knife. You have $200 in your pocket, a sleeping bag under your seat. In front of you, a boat you've never seen before in your life, and on its deck, a man who could reject you with a single look. You're looking for a job, a chance, or just a way to not go hungry. The man looks at your hands first, then into your eyes, then at his boat. Will the sea hold you? He asks. You know it would, even in a rowboat. Still, you stare at that steel hull. No, you say. You're lying. Level 1. Greenhorn. You might not realize it yet, but you've just been hired for the toughest minimum wage job in America. No training, no manual. The boat leaves Dutch Harbor at 4 a.m., and by 7 a.m., you're in the middle of the Bering Sea. 5 to 6 meter waves and freezing wind at 60 kilometers per hour. The boat never stops rocking. Not in harbor, not at the dock. Within the first 6 hours, you learn that sea legs isn't a metaphor. It's something experienced deckhands actually have that you don't. Once you're 60 kilometers offshore, the seasickness hits. While you're vomiting over the rail, Pete, the deck chief, 11 years in, watches to see if you're going to quit. You wipe your face, you get back to work, you keep throwing up off and on for the next 3 days. As the rookie, your job is everything nobody else wants to do. Preparing bait, grinding frozen cod and herring into paste, filling 250 bait jars a day. Stowing gear, coiling ropes. You're first when something needs cleaning and last in line when the crab-filled cage comes up. 18-hour shifts, sometimes 20. No overtime, no union. Your pay is 3% of the boat's total earnings. In a slow season, 3% of nothing is exactly that. At the end of 5 weeks, your first paycheck is $8,400. You do the math on the dock in Dutch Harbor. Then you do it again because it seems wrong. It isn't. In the Bering Sea, 20-hour days in the cold pay a rookie $8,400 in a slow season. Still, you don't quit. Not because the money is good. 3 weeks later, when the deck is covered in ice and the cage comes back empty, you understand something. You're doing work most people couldn't do. Most would have gone home after the seasickness. Most would have walked after the cage swung over their head. You didn't. You're not sure yet what to call that, but it's real. Level 2. Deckhand. The first season is over. You came back for the second. That alone puts you in a different category. Retention in this work is brutal. Dropout rates during the first season run 40 to 60%, depending on the vessel. Half the people who show up in Dutch Harbor for the adventure don't make it to the end. The ones who come back for a second season are different. They know exactly what it is, and they choose it anyway. The captain knows this. The deck chief knows this. You'll notice their attitude toward you has shifted. Not warmth, just honesty. They start treating you like someone worth training. You're now working full capacity on deck. You can read the nets, how they'll sway in the wind, when to brace, when the rope will snap. Before the captain announces it, you can already sense from the data that a bad run is coming. In the dark, you reel in the line without thinking. Calluses have formed in specific spots on your hands, shaped by specific tasks. Your body knows this boat. The pay is better. You get 5% now. In a good season when king crab prices are high, that's $35,000 to $50,000 in 6 weeks. In a bad season, that money won't last the winter. You find work back in Seattle or wherever home is and wait for the boats to go back out. The danger hasn't gone anywhere. It never has. The difference is you can see it clearly now. That rope that could catch your foot and throw you into the dark at 20 kilometers per hour. That cage swaying in the chop. You've learned to work around it. You've started taking charge on deck. Level 3. Deck Chief. 5 seasons. You're the deck chief now. The most senior person on deck, and the whole crew answers to you. This is the most dangerous position on the boat. The captain is at the helm. The engineer is below. You're outside, in the middle of the storm, making calls in the 2 seconds before something goes wrong. You're managing 4 or 5 people, including this season's rookie. You set the pace, push, and they push. Back off in a dangerous moment, and they back off too. You have no formal authority. You can't fire anyone, the captain does that. But you hold something more immediate. The crew watches your eyes to know whether to move fast or move carefully. Getting that wrong out here is a different kind of wrong than it is anywhere else. Your share is 6%. In a tough season, between $60,000 and $80,000 lands in your account in 6 to 8 weeks. A captain who trusts you leaves the deck to you. One who doesn't turns every call into an argument. And if that happens, you eventually find another boat. You're 28. You were on deck in January in 8-meter swells, hauling cages in weather where Coast Guard helicopters couldn't fly. You're good at this, but if you're honest with yourself, you also know the moments where it wasn't skill. It was the rope going right instead of left, the wave breaking low, the cage sweeping to starboard instead of port. You carry that, the way everyone in this industry carries it. You don't say it out loud. If you were in their shoes, how long could you endure this pace and danger? Let's meet in the comments. Level 4. Engineer. You took a different path. Down, not up. On a crab boat, the engineer keeps the whole thing afloat. Main engine, generators, the hydraulics powering the winches and cages, the heating system keeping the crew from freezing in their bunks, the bilge pumps that keep the boat above water, all yours. When something breaks in the middle of the ocean, there's no one to call. You can't order parts. It's the engine room, you and whatever you brought with you. You hold a Coast Guard engineering license, earned through years of mechanical work and a hard exam, thermodynamics, fire suppression, the full list. The captain hired you because you can fix almost anything and you don't panic when the hydraulics fail at 2 a.m. with 300 cages still out. The engine room is loud, hot, and smells like diesel and hydraulic oil. While the deck crew is fighting the storm outside, you're mostly down here, and sometimes you're glad for that trade-off. Then the boat heels 45 degrees and everything that isn't bolted down becomes a projectile, and you remember, on a boat this size in a real storm, there's no safe place. Just places where the danger is different. Your share is 6%. Same as the deck chief, which tells you something about how much each of you depends on the other. A good season nets you $70,000 to $90,000. You finish up, go home, work in shipyards all winter, and come back in October. Twice on land, you turn down steady jobs. Regular pay, reasonable hours, work that wouldn't kill you. Both times the captain called and you went back to Dutch Harbor. You've tried to explain that to people who've never done it. You haven't found the right words yet. Level 5. Captain, the license is yours, the decisions are yours. Coast Guard Captain's License. Years at the helm, a lifetime spent mastering navigation, weather, fishing strategies, and the ruthless mathematics of the Bering Sea. Where are the crabs? Where will they be next week? How to read the sonar, how to track the fleet. A successful captain combines a hunter's instincts, a navigator's calculations, and the management skills of a small business owner, where even a small margin of error can be fatal. Profit is 10% of the total catch. In a great season, that amounts to between $150,000 and $200,000 over 3 months. In the legendary seasons the industry still talks about, it can be much more. It is known that in a peak year for Captain Jake Anderson, he earned $2.5 million in 11 days. This figure is extraordinary but true. It is proof of what this industry can offer when everything goes right. When the quota is high, the catch is plentiful, the weather is favorable, and the crew is sharp. The real weight of the captain's role isn't the money. It's the crew. In January, in the Bering Sea on a 35-meter boat with 6 or 7 people, every decision you make, where to set the nets, when to haul them in, whether to head into the storm or wait for it to pass, it all affects them. A wrong decision doesn't just cost money. In these waters at this time of year, a wrong decision costs everything. You've made decisions that cost money, but you've never made that other kind of decision. You're aware that part of it is skill, part of it is experience, and part of it is a thing completely beyond your control. You'd never say that out loud in port. The Coast Guard frequency is saved in your phone's speed dial. Every captain in the Bering Sea has it that way. This isn't pessimism, it's professionalism. Level 6. Highliner captain / boat owner. There's one word that defines this industry. Highliner. It means the best in the business. That legendary boat that returns with the most crabs every season, where crew members compete to secure a spot on board and processing plants pay the highest price for the catch. You've reached this point by making more consistent and accurate decisions than anyone else. Where should the net be set? When should you settle for what you have and pull it in, rather than waiting for the big jackpot? How do you strike that delicate balance between weather, quotas, market prices, fuel costs, and crew fatigue? The math of Bering Sea fishing is ruthless and never stops. What captains who've done this for 20 to 30 years and still turn a profit do looks like intuition from the outside. But in reality, it's decades of observation transforming into decisions at an inexplicable speed. You bought your first boat at age 38. It nearly bankrupted you financially. A 38-foot crab boat costs between $1 and $4 million. Additionally, the quota system requires you to purchase fishing shares that can be just as expensive as the boat itself. Even before catching a single crab, seasonal operating costs can run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The risk is real. 2 bad seasons in a row mean a conversation with the bank you'd rather avoid. You had 1 bad season, but you got through it. Your crew didn't leave because of your reputation. The bank held off on you out of respect for your past successes. The following October, you set sail and had the best season of your career. You're 45 years old. You've been on the Bering Sea for 23 years. Your knees are shot. Your back is even worse. You have hearing loss in your right ear caused by engine vibrations. The doctor calls it occupational injury, but you call it the price of doing business. You've lost 2 people from this fleet. They weren't part of your crew, but they were people you knew. You don't say their names out loud, but they're always there. Your son came out with you for a season when he was 19. Then he went back home. Now he works in the tech industry in Seattle. He's making good money. You're truly happy for him. Let me know in the comments, a single season in the Bering Sea. Would you do it? Yes or no? Conclusion. Right now, somewhere out there, a 22-year-old is standing on the dock in Dutch Harbor. $200 in his pocket, sleeping bag under his arm. He's watched Deadliest Catch. He thinks he knows what he's walking into. He has no idea about the 3-day seasickness, or what a rope moving at speed does to a leg, or what the Bering Sea feels like at 3 a.m. in January when you've got 8 hours left in the shift and the deck is iced over and the last cage came up empty. He just knows the number. $50,000 in 6 weeks. He did the math. The captain looks at his hands, then his eyes. Have you ever been seasick? The boat leaves at 4 a.m. The cycle continues. If you've made it to the end of this video, subscribe. In the next video, we're heading to an even more dangerous place.